church. Today we're going to be delving into the passage of Psalms 31 through 5. And we're going to be going over the topic of healing. Now, before I begin, I'd like to start with a word of prayer. Lord Jesus, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come today and preach, Lord. I thank you for not being sick today and being healed previously. I thank you for the long break that we had to just get away from the schoolwork and from the stress of college, and that we could just rest and be with you, Lord. I ask that you should give me a calm mind and clear presence to speak today. In your precious name I pray. Amen. Alrighty, so again we'll be in Psalms 31 through 5, and I want to talk about healing in our modern world today. We can look through the Bible and see that healing happens relatively often if we look towards the grand scheme of things over many, many years. And today we don't really think of healing happening that often. We can hear these miracle stories on the news. This guy was beaten to death and he came right back. He was perfectly fine. And doctors can't understand it. There's many things that doctors can't understand where they're like, how was this person healed? We can't comprehend the ways that it was done. When there's something going on, something happened to make them healed. But we tend to look at healing as just a medical thing that doctors can do, that takes 8 years of intense study and then internships and just going really in depth about the body and the mind and everything that goes wrong with us. They can try to get better. But we hardly ever look at healing from God's view of what's really happened, what can happen, and what will happen if we're there with Him. If we can just have some faith in that He can heal us. Now, it's not a bad thing to have faith in the doctors. They've trained for this. It's good to be healed that way. It's well. God made things and trained these people to heal us. But there's also ways where God can heal us. And is it just that we're not believing that healing can happen today? Or is it that we trust so much in the medical field that we've forgotten our trust in God? And so, when we're going over this passage and my points that I have, I really want to focus in on what kind of healing do we need? Do we need this just earthly healing, the doctors and the medical professionals to heal us? Or is there something that they can't understand, they can't comprehend, that we need a bigger healing? And so, let's start in with Psalms 31 through 5. A psalm of David, a song at the dedication of the temple. I will extol you, O Lord, for you have drawn me up, and have not let my foes rejoice over me. O Lord my God, I cried to you for help, and you have healed me. O Lord, you brought up my soul from Sheol. You restored me to life from among those who go down to the pit. Sing praises to the Lord, O you his saints, and give thanks to his holy name. For his anger is but for a moment, and his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes with the morning. And so as I read this passage, there's a distinct way that David outlines this. And the first thing is that David seeks God and cries for his help. When we're down and we are seeking this healing, the first thing that should be on our mind is to seek God and just cry out for Him. To 100% go before the Lord and beg and plead and cry out for His healing. We can't just be like, Lord, heal me? It's not that it matters too much. We do have these doctors and stuff, but really it'd be kind of cool if you healed me this time. That's not the way that God wants it to happen. God wants, like, a first resort, down in front of Him, crying out, heal. Heal me. And then David moves on to his second part, where he was healed. God provided that for him. He sought God, he cried for his help, and God provided. God healed him. He took away that pain, that suffering, that sickness, and healed it. And then comes the most important part. The healing, the miraculous stuff, and then David praises God. David gives thanks for the glorious works that God has done. He praises him. He even goes on to tell other people, sing praises to the Lord, O you saints. He's telling people, just praise him. Look at the amazing things his majesty has been brought before. He healed me when I didn't think I could be healed. And that's what we need to take to heart. So, it brings me to my first main point, is that healing requires you to call for it from God. It's not just a side quest of a video game. It's the one thing that needs to happen. So you need to call for it. You need to beg and plead for God. Healing's not going to happen just because it's something fun to do, something cool that we could have. It's something more than that. It's a shock, a change, a revelation, really, of what God can do. It's healing. It's something that we can't really comprehend. I mean, how much do you know about the body or the mind? I mean, not much. I'll tell you, I know enough from my anatomy classes, and that's about it. But yet God knows everything. He created us. He had these intricate details of what cells do, what organs do, what the mind is going through. He knows it all. He built each and every one of us with his own hands and his words. So he definitely has the power to heal. There's no doubt in my mind. He created this, and he's going to restore everything. He can definitely restore us. He wants us better. He wants us to be well, to worship him with all of our mind and our soul and our body. And he will heal. We just have to call for it. It's in Mark 5:34. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease. Jesus hits on this point that your faith has made you well. It's not that she just wanted to go and get healed. She had the faith that she was going to get healed. She had that 100% faith. He constantly talks to the disciples, ye of little faith. And it's represented in our world today. We have very little faith. And it's when you have an active faith, when you have complete faith, that you're healed, you're made well. So go in peace. She didn't have to worry about anything else. Jesus took care of it. Her faith put all that stuff in the past. Now God can heal. We see this all throughout the Bible. We even see it in the world. He does this still. It's not just a past thing. We think of it in the past. We think, healing can happen back then, but it's not really going to happen today. God's kind of gone, as people would say. He's not around as much anymore. That's completely untrue. God is still as much here as he was back in the day. He is here. He's around. He's here with us today. Do we look at him like that? Most of the time, no. We don't pay attention to the things that God's doing. If we took a second to just stop and look around and see what people are going through, not just worrying about our own selves, we can see healing. Healing happens. Is it small healing? It can be. Is it large healing? Sure. But healing happens. It's not just that God forgets about us. We can think about that sometimes, when we're going through difficult things like, God, why are you not here right now? It brings tears to God's eyes. He's there. He's there, right beside you, walking with you through all the pain and the misery. And he's like, just come to me. Let me heal you. He's a dad looking after his child. It breaks his heart. and he wants us to do better. I guarantee you, Dr. Heisen wants the best for his kids. And there's no doubt that they will try their best to please him. It's a child to his father. It's a father to his child. That bond can't be broken. It won't be broken. God's paid everything for us. And he will heal us, I promise you. We just have to have that faith that he will. And then there's two types of healing. Because I don't want you to believe that everything that you ask for is going to be given to you immediately. It might take some time. God knows the right time and the wrong time to do things. It's in his plan. If he doesn't want you to be healed right now, then just sit with it for a little bit. But I guarantee you will be healed. And there's two types of healing. There's physical healing, and there's spiritual healing. We'll get into the spiritual a little bit later. Physical, obviously, takes part of the body and what we go through. Cut on our arm, going through different things, whether it be a disease or an illness. That's the physical healing. And God can heal those. We see in Matthew 4:24, so his fame spread throughout all Syria, and they brought to him all the sick, those afflicted with various diseases and pains, those oppressed by demons, those having seizures and paralytics, and he healed them. So we can see those oppressed by demons, those having seizures, and those that are paralyzed. Physical healings that he healed. And that can still happen today. I hear on the news sometimes, a guy that couldn't walk, all of a sudden just started getting up and walking. And doctors are confused. Again, have no idea how to happen. It shouldn't be happening. A guy wakes up from a coma, perfectly fine, remembers everything, and he's been healed. Obviously, the medical field doesn't know. And so there's a little part of healing that doesn't understand, but it's there. It's from God. It's that physical healing. And if you believe that Jesus is still alive, like Christians we do, then he's still here to heal. If he was dead, I guarantee you no healing would happen. The God that created everything would be dead. There's nothing more to have. But that's the great part about the gospel, is that he rose back again. The healing that he did when he was a man is still going to happen today as he's up there with God. Jesus is healing. And it's cool. It's very cool. I love it. And I got to see this face to face with my cousin Keith. So when Keith was 2 years old, actually I'm going to give you some backstory about Keith. Keith was just this wild little youngin', alright? He was awesome. I loved him to death. He'd go up to you, hug you, didn't matter if you're a stranger or family. He loved people. And the one person he loved more than anything in the world was his dad. And so I worked with his dad. Me and him, we would go out in the scrapyard and we'd work. And whenever we'd drive back, we'd have this trailer with us. And it was usually pretty full, about 30,000 pounds in the trailer. So it's pretty heavy. Including the trailer would be about 54,000. So it's a pretty stout, heavy thing. And so as we're getting off, I'd go inside and let Keith out. I'm like,